Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Bill's Baseball Vlog, where I'll be talking about some of the stories going on in baseball and taking a look at the baseball standings. Let's talk about what I think is the big story that isn't really been talked about as much in Major League Baseball, and that is the possibility. I don't know how big of a possibility it is, but a possibility that the Milwaukee Brewers could be relocated. Now, look, I was surprised when I first heard this too. I was like, it's the Brewers. It's Milwaukee. They have a tremendous fan base. Why would the Brewers be relocated? Well, it's Major League Baseball, and Major League Baseball has told the owners of the ballpark, American Family Field, that if they do not get repairs done on the ballpark, then they're going to relocate the team. Basically, the things that I've read are the seats, the concourse, among others, need to be done. They need to be done, or else Milwaukee loses the baseball team. And honestly, I don't like that. The stadium's been around 20 years. Should they renovate stuff? They should, but I don't think it should be to the point where you threaten them by taking the team away from the city. You know, it's not like the city did anything wrong to possibly cause Milwaukee to lose the Brewers. I don't think it'll happen. I don't see Milwaukee losing the Brewers. It's too good of a fan base, too good of a market, just too good all around to actually take the club away from Milwaukee. I just don't see it happening. I do think the renovations will get done. It takes time, but I do see the renovations getting done. I just can't really see them. I just can't see Major League Baseball taking the team away, because it's been said many, many times, in my life, where it's like, we're going to relocate this team, we're going to relocate that team, and it hardly ever happens. So if I'm a Brewers fan watching this video, I would be feeling, hey, you know what? They're going to get it done. I just don't see them taking the team, our team, away. But you never know. Stranger things have happened. The voting for the All-Star Game recently started. I have not done mine yet. I have not done my voting. My nephew keeps asking me if I've done it. I'll get to it in some point. But I will say I've seen different people post who they voted for. It's a very unique selection of individuals. One that I saw in particular that was a head scratcher, and I guess it's because, they like the team. They had the American League completely filled with Boston Red Sox players and National League completely filled with Miami Marlins players. Almost said Florida. I want to say Florida Marlins, but I know it's not. But yeah, that's the beauty of voting in the All-Star Game, is you can vote for whoever you want on there. It just started, I want to say, like a week ago. It's going to be a little while before we get any notes on who's leading in what position. It's going to be quite interesting to see. I think for me, what's going to be the most interesting is to see how many from Tampa get voted in, because they are the best team right now in Major League Baseball. The first to 40 wins. More than likely they'll be the first to 50 wins. I will be very interested in seeing how many Tampa Bay Rays players get voted into the All-Star Game. If I had to do an over-under, I'm going to say 3.5. I think 3.5 is a fair number as far as how many Tampa Bay Rays players get voted in. Of course, there is the rule where every team has to have at least one player represent them in the All-Star Game. I would not let that opportunity go to the Oakland A's. I just wouldn't, but that's just me. Maybe I'm being a little mean, but, have you seen the A's play this year? Just saying. A little bit of sad news. Roger Craig passed away over the weekend. He was a pitcher and manager. Pitching career, he spent most of his career traveling, actually, from 1955 all the way to 1966. Spent the majority of his career with the Dodgers. He pitched 3 seasons in Brooklyn and then 4 in Los Angeles for the Dodgers. Then had a 2-year stint with the Mets, followed up by a run in St. Louis, Cincinnati, and Philadelphia. 3-time World Series champion there. 74 career wins, a 3.83 ERA with 803 strikeouts thrown. Now, he was probably better known as a manager, most famously with the San Francisco Giants. He had an 8-year run as the manager of the Giants from 1985 to 1992, with the peak of his run being the 1989 Giants, where they went to the World Series to play the Oakland Athletics. Of course, that's when the earthquake happened in '89. And then he started out his career as a manager for the San Diego Padres. And I was looking up his statistics. It's very, very interesting. His worst year, his worst record, was actually his second year in San Diego. He went 68-93 as manager of the Padres. Won the division twice, won the NL West twice. While he was with the Giants, he did not finish any worse than 6th. So, pretty good record. 500 record, actually, is what he has. 738, 737 career record. Won the National League pennant, like I said, in '89. Roger Craig passed away over the weekend at the age of 93. Okay, let's take a look at the current baseball standings, see where we are on this, the 5th of June. And starting off with the best division in baseball, that is the American League East. The Tampa Bay Rays, 42-19. They have a 4-game lead on Baltimore, 6 on the Yankees, who took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers this weekend. Toronto, 8.5 back, and Boston, 11 back. In the Central, the Twins are still in first place with a 31-29 record. They have a 3.5 game lead on the Guardians and the Tigers. Cleveland is only ahead of them on percentage points. Chicago, 5.5 back, winners of 3 in a row, and Kansas City is last, but 12.5 back. In the American League West, the Texas Rangers are on top with a 38-20 record, winners of 3 in a row. They are 3.5 ahead of the Houston Astros, 8.5 ahead of the Angels, 9.5 Seattle, and 27.5 games ahead of the Oakland A's, who got swept by the Marlins over the weekend. They are at 12-49. Meanwhile, in the National League, we'll start with the East. The Braves have the best record, not only in the division, but in the National League with a 35-24 record. 3.5 games ahead of Miami, 5.5 ahead of the Mets, 8 ahead of Philadelphia, and 10 ahead of Washington. The National League Central is going to be an interesting division to keep an eye on during the summer months. Milwaukee, 32-27, have a half-game lead on the Pirates, winners of 5 in a row. The Cubs, 5.5 back, Cincinnati, 6 back, and St. Louis, 7.5 back. And finally, in the National League West, the Dodgers and the Arizona Diamondbacks are tied for first. Who'd have thought the Diamondbacks would be tied for first with the Dodgers this deep into the season? Both teams are 35-25, 5.5 game lead ahead of San Francisco, 7.5 ahead of the Padres, and 9.5 ahead of the Rockies. Alright, so that's going to do it for this episode of Bill's Baseball Vlog. If you have any suggestions of topics you would like me to discuss here, just leave a comment in the comments section, and I'll take it into very high consideration. Thank you all for watching this video, and I'll talk to you all next time here on Bill's Baseball Vlog.